Well, I'm going to have to tack this on to the end. It looks like my damage assessment was a little incomplete. Our river is over the banks here and washing out the road. I'm going to wade into it a little bit to see how bad it is. But it looks like they're going to be replacing some road material again. This is only like the second time I've ever seen it go over here. So this is a bit of a surprise. This shouldn't affect us. We usually drive away from here over a different route. As long as the water's not over that one too, we should be fine. This one will go first. But yeah, they've lost some material here. We won't be driving through here till they get it fixed. Got a good hole in the road there, washed out. And I'm not going to go all the way into that because that looks like it gets deeper to the point where I could go swimming if I'm not careful. So yeah, we've got a little more damage than expected. So I'm going to tack this on the end of it, and or at the beginning of it, because otherwise people won't stick around to see it all. So I'm about as far in here as I dare. The river goes under that little bridge that you can barely see there before you get to the elm tree. It's obviously going over and around it right now. So anyway, I think I'll put this at the beginning of the video because this is probably the biggest excitement part. The rest of the video will be kind of boring by comparison, but this is all supposed to be dry land here. So I mean, it's kind of marshy over there. You can see the cattails. But I had not expected it to be up over the road here. Otherwise I would have kept the video going until I got here. Would have been real long and boring, but we'll tack this on. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I will put this at the beginning of the video because this is the height of the damage we got. The rest of it's pretty, there really isn't any real other damage. I just go through my usual damage assessment the rest of the video. So I'll let you look at it there. Okay, I'm zoomed in here right now because this is of interest to me. What I'm doing is a damage assessment after the storm here. We are without power, internet, or phone while I'm doing this. And while it probably isn't on our end of the problem, I double check anyway because we're the only one on this line. This is the breaker, that funny thing there hanging on the wires. It's obviously connected, so it's not right by my home here. The line does show that it goes on deeper into the bush here, but it's not actually connected beyond here. I'm going to get this back to normal. It's not connected past our place. The line goes to an old abandoned farmhouse. Not down this road, it actually goes down, the line goes down the road here, cuts across a field, across the river into an abandoned farmhouse. Farmhouse is abandoned, the farm is still in use. One of the local farmers takes care of the fields and all. So it's not that it's not being used at all, it's just that the house doesn't need any power. That line is dead past my place. The line's down in a few places, permanently down by the look of it, because Hydro has decided not to repair it because nobody's on that part of the line anyway. They cut it off after my place. The line is down where there's a row of trees close to the old Polly place, and it's also down over the river. I don't know if it's down anywhere else. We've only looked at it beyond that. I'm walking down here looking at the line to see if there's anything down hanging on ours. Just a quick look down the road, doesn't look like it, but we did have them go down in the spring that was on our line, which meant we were out of power for a good long time, because since we're the only one on this particular line, we're the last ones to get fixed. And since this storm was pretty widespread, there are thousands of people without power right now. We're not complaining. I don't think we're really suffering at all. I feel sorry for the people in the Bahamas. We did view some clips of the destruction down there. We didn't have anything to compare to that. We've got virtually nothing. That's just our power's out right now. I do want to check to make sure the breaker's not down at the end of the road here, because that one means a lot to me. If it is down, I have to call it in, because otherwise Hydro probably won't ever know. And I won't get power until it's fixed. But so far I don't see anything here. I haven't seen any signs of trees down here, or really any limbs down, which is good for us. I know that the gusts, according to the news, the Weather Channel that we were looking up, the gusts peaked at about 99 kilometers an hour here. I don't know if they're that fast in the bush, because the only numbers we can get are for Sackville. And Sackville is down by the marsh. The winds tend to blow harder down there, especially across the marsh itself. The marsh is wide open and flat. And anytime we get wind, it just howls through there. We actually have a lot of trees here to slow it up. But yeah, I'm looking along. I don't see any real damage to the line anywhere, which is good. And when I get to the end, I'm hoping to see that that breaker's still on. If that breaker is on, then our line isn't a problem down here. It also means that it'll get fixed faster, because if it's only affecting me, it's not that big of a deal. But if it's affecting thousands of people, like it's down all the way in Sackville, which is a good possibility, then they're going to come and fix it fairly quickly. Yeah, I don't see any signs of hardly anything. There's a lot of water on the road, but that's not. We don't need a hurricane to get that. We don't even need a hurricane for the line to go down. So, like I said, we were just on the fringe of it. I'm sure the damage in Halifax area is far worse. We'll check that out later on the news. We do have friends living out that way. In fact, we have friends down in the Caribbean, so knowing that people in the Bahamas suffered so bad was not good news for us. It was not something we were happy to hear. We were concerned for a lot of our friends. And I still don't see anything remotely close to a problem here. The line looks good. I'm not qualified to work around the lines with my chainsaw, so I will let them deal with it, because fixing or cutting a tree up if it's on the line is only part of the problem, as I don't have any capability of resetting that breaker, so my fixing it won't bring back the power faster anyway. So far so good. Don't see any problems here. The thing is, if the beef operations are without power, we get higher priority for getting fixed, as those are fairly important people locally. I'm not very important at all, especially since they know that we can live without power for a relatively extended period of time. The only thing is we don't have phone or internet, which means we are cut off from the outside world for a while, which is far from ideal. But we're prepared for that. This is part of what we signed up for when we moved out this far into the bush, as we are rather remote. Looking along the line, I don't see any real problems. I don't see any real damage to trees at this point. Still blowing a little bit, but it's hardly anything compared to what it was during the night. I'm hoping the power comes back, because there's not a whole lot I can do around the place except for go for walks and look around, while the power's out. I can't work in my shop. I can't go on the internet. I can't phone anyone. Granted, we could get in the car and go somewhere, but that doesn't accomplish anything around our home, and I do have a lot of work to do. I've already done an assessment around the house. Tomatoes look like they got a bit of damage. My wife will deal with that. I don't think it's a big issue. It doesn't look like the plants are broken. It's just a couple of them look like they're flopped over. They were semi-protected, and they didn't suffer too badly. The cover got blown off my harvested elm wood, so that all got wet. But that's not a real disaster. It doesn't soak in that fast. And it should dry up over the next week, and I can recover it then. I can see already the breaker on the corner here is fine. It's connected. See if I can zoom in on that. I better get closer first. Zoom in on that when I get there. Go up the pole a little closer here and see the breaker there. That it's like a hard to explain. It's not on the pole, so you can see the top. If you look close, you can see the top of our pole has been replaced. One of the weirdest things I ever saw. That thing shorted out and burned the top of the pole off. And fortunately, it didn't affect more. It did affect more people than me. For whatever reason, I think the farm on the corner had some trouble, so they actually came and fixed that fairly quickly. But they had to replace the whole top of the pole. One of the strangest things I ever saw. But our power went, I believe the farmhouse went down in power before we did. There's another breaker on the corner here somewhere. But this one would affect more than just me. This would affect the farmers on the corner. Yeah, I don't know if I can even zoom in on this. It's in the trees here. There's a breaker up here on the pole. I'm going to zoom in on that. I don't know if you can even see it. I know what I'm looking at, you guys. Yeah, and the breaker on that's fine too. Which means there's a good chance that the problem is all the way down in Sackville, or somewhere between Sackville and Midgick, where the wind is a great deal stronger. It's more exposed. Trees could go down a lot easier there. It might be further down the road here. There's a lot of woods to go through before you get there. But yeah, it looks like we're all good. Just a matter of them getting that fixed, and then we'll be fully serviced again. We got off light, which is good. We were expecting that. The track of the hurricane wasn't telling us we were going to have big problems. Might not be the last one for the season, so this might not be the last time I do this. I do this kind of a damage assessment after every big windstorm. I double check to make sure my line is okay. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope everybody who did go through the storm as well, especially in the Canada area, my friends. Always remember, time flies whether you're having fun or not. And we're going to call it a day. I'll put this up as soon as the internet comes back. Thanks for watching.